Hey everybody, I'm Becky Adams. Thank you for stopping by my YouTube channel today. Today I am working with a hand-stitched layout background. I am using the Keeping It Real collection from Pink Fresh Studio. So the first thing I did obviously was the hand stitching, and we'll talk about that more in just a little bit. But I hand stitched using a cut file from Paige, and I will see if I can find a link to it and add it to the description box below. So I'm using this yellow piece of pattern paper that I've obviously cut the middle out of for my background. I already used the middle of it for another project. So I put adhesive around the edge, all four edges of this pattern paper, and I'm taking just the corners and just barely peeling back the edges of the double-sided tape. And I'm doing that because I want to make sure I have the placement right before I expose all of that adhesive. So if I do that just on the two corners, then it's a lot easier to shift it as needed. And then when I have the placement right, I flip it over and pull off the backing on everything else. This one, I will probably go back and adhere a piece of cardstock to the back of it using some liquid adhesive, just to make sure that all of my hand stitching stays in place. So I'm trimming, so first of all, I did my hand stitching. I did trim a little bit off the edges of the cardstock, about a half an inch on either side, so I have a 1/4 of an inch border around the entire piece of white cardstock. And then I did stitch with my sewing machine and white thread around the edge of the white cardstock. Because I did so much beautiful hand stitching on this project, I wanted to make sure to leave as much of it showing as possible. So I knew I wanted to do a smaller photo and hidden journaling on this project. So I used the DIY pockets die from Scrapbook.com. It's a Scrapbook.com exclusive, a die set that I highly recommend. I will leave a link to it in the description box below. I use it all the time. And I'm using it on this one to create a pocket behind the photo so that I can add some hidden journaling. Because there's hand stitching, I wanted to make this a full pocket, not just adhere it to the background. Hopefully that makes sense. So I'm just adhering the pocket to a piece of white cardstock using some double-sided tape and liquid adhesive. And I'm just placing that on a piece of white. I think it's actually just a piece of regular white paper. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. It's just going to protect the hand stitching so that when I slide the card with journaling on it inside and out, it won't snag on the hand stitching. So I'm just using a pair of scissors to trim around the edge of that scratch paper to finish off that pocket. After finishing that off, I'm going to adhere this pocket to the bottom right section of the layout using some double-sided tape, and I believe I used some liquid adhesive as well. So back to the hand stitching, I kind of have a bad habit of doing hand stitching projects. I like to take them with me in the car and while we're watching TV, and I do a lot of hand stitching projects, but I actually have like 5 or 6 really pretty hand stitched pieces that I have not used. So what I did is I made a quick video over on my Instagram feed and asked my Instagram community which hand stitching piece they wanted to see me create into a layout first, and they chose this one. So here at the end of this video, I'm going to show you the rest of my hand stitch pieces, and I would love for you guys to let me know in the comments below which one you would like to see next. Okay, back to the layout. I have my journaling printed and on this piece of pattern paper that from the Keeping It Real collection. And I wanted just a tab to make it a little bit easier to pull that in and out of the pocket. So I just took a circle punch and punched a small circle out of a piece of pattern paper and adhered that to that journaling card so that it's easier to pull in and out of the pocket. As I mentioned earlier, I wanted to show as much of the hand stitching as possible on this project, and so I'm keeping everything on a smaller scale, I guess, and that includes my title. So the title is just a small die cut that just says all the feels. This page is about my daughter and my niece and how they're growing up so quickly. This was taken on my daughter's 17th birthday. So just to add a few embellishments to this project, I added some flower die cuts to the right of the photo, or excuse me, to the left of the photo. I just tucked them in under the photo, and I'm adhering them with a combination of liquid glue and pop dots. I've got this tag that I actually cut out to use on a different project, and I didn't end up using it. This is a collection that I've had for a long time, and honestly, I picked out the colors of this stitching project to match this collection. So that's why I reached back into this collection, even though it's a little bit older. But I wanted to adhere that tag that I had fussy cut and didn't use on another project and use it on this one. So I did kind of go back and forth on where exactly I wanted that placed. There's this cute book die cut that I just had to include. Both of these girls are avid readers, and so the little book die cut is very fitting for this project. So I adhere it with a couple of pop dots there next to that tag. So I'm just sliding that the journaling back into the pocket, and then I'm going to finish this layout off with just a few enamel dots. I didn't want to cover up any of the hand stitching, so I just do a couple just around the cluster of embellishments and around the photo. And I think I kind of go back and forth on these enamel dots, but after just placing those few enamel dots, this project is finished. I kind of toyed with the idea of putting a cluster of embellishment up in the top left corner to kind of balance things off, but I decided that I didn't want to. I really just wanted to keep this one simple and focus on the photo and the hand stitching. So with this one finished, I wanted to bring in my stack of hand stitching projects. This is the one that I finished most recently, the floral heart. There's a heart with the word love in it. This is just a title, Explore, and then kind of a layered star shape. So let me know in the comments section below which one of those projects you would like to see next, and I will get that done and put a video up here on my YouTube channel. So thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to spend with me. I am so grateful to have you here as a part of my YouTube community. Make sure if you haven't done so already that you hit that subscribe button so that you can see my upcoming videos. Thank you again for stopping by, and I'll see you again soon.